Hello and welcome back. You are listening to a special presentation for Senior Life Stories.
It's wonderful to be here.
I'm your host, and as always, I am thrilled to be sitting here to take another deep dive into a topic that, it affects our daily lives in ways we might not even realize.
Oh, I think today's topic is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
It really challenges some of that, conventional wisdom we've all grown up with.
It absolutely does. Today, we are talking about something that is, it's likely sitting in your refrigerator right now. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the egg. But we aren't just talking about, having an omelet on a Sunday morning. Oh. We're diving into a very specific and, frankly, kind of shocking proposition. We're asking the question, what actually happens to the human body, specifically the aging human body, if you eat 4 eggs? Every single day.
4 eggs. It sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
It sounds huge.
To the average person, that sounds completely excessive.
My brain, and I'm sure the brains of many of our listeners, immediately goes to that old school warning siren. Danger. Danger. Cholesterol. Heart attack. I mean, eating 4 eggs a day feels like you're just asking for trouble based on everything we've been told.
Of course.
If you told a doctor in, say, 1985 that you were eating 28 eggs a week, they probably would have pre-booked you for a bypass.
They would have. And that's the conditioned response. It's totally understandable.
Yeah.
If you repeat a warning long enough, it just becomes truth, regardless of the biology underneath it.
So that's what we're here for.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this deep dive. Because that reaction, that immediate fear of the egg, it's based on information that is not only outdated, but has been pretty definitively debunked by modern science.
So that's our mission today, right? We're going to strip away the fear, but we can't just say, it's okay. We need to explain why.
Precisely. This is an educational journey. We want to stop looking at the egg as just, a breakfast food or a potential cholesterol bomb and start understanding the biology of the egg.
What it really is.
We need to look at it for what it really is. And biologically speaking, an egg is a starter kit for life.
I love that phrase, starter kit for life. It frames it perfectly. And looking at our roadmap for today, the benefits we're going to uncover are pretty wild.
They really are.
We're talking about improvements in energy, metabolism, brain function, eyesight, even hormone balance. But we have to start with the roadblock.
We do.
We have to clear the debris before we can build the house.
We have to tackle the elephant in the room, the cholesterol myth. Because if people are afraid to eat the food in the first place, the benefits don't even matter.
True.
Then we'll look at muscle synthesis, which is so crucial for our Senior Life Stories audience. We'll explore brain health, and we will finish up with a really practical guide on how to buy them and the best ways to eat them to get the absolute maximum benefit.
Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The elephant in the room.
Cholesterol. Let's unpack it.
I feel like for anyone over the age of, say, 50, the association is automatic. Eggs equal cholesterol. Cholesterol equals clogged arteries. Therefore, eggs equal heart problems. It's a simple equation we were all taught.
It is.
Where did this even come from? How did we get it so wrong for so long?
It's a very pervasive myth, and its roots go way back to the mid-20th century, the 1960s, but even before that. There was research suggesting a direct link between dietary cholesterol, the cholesterol you eat, and the cholesterol levels in your blood.
Okay.
But here's the thing about that research. It was built on a foundation of sand.
A foundation of sand. So bad data, or just like a misunderstanding of how the body works.
It was both, really. Let's look at the foundational study that kicked this whole fear into high gear. It was done way back in 1913 by a Russian pathologist named Nikolai Anichkow.
1913?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he wanted to see if cholesterol caused plaque buildup. So what he did was he fed pure cholesterol to rabbits. Rabbits.
Okay.
And guess what happened? The rabbits developed massive atherosclerosis. Their arteries clogged up almost immediately, and this was hailed as the smoking gun. See? Cholesterol kills.
Okay, but rabbits are herbivores. They eat grass and carrots and things like that.
Exactly. And that is the massive glaring flaw in the whole thing. A rabbit is an obligate herbivore.
Right.
Its physiology has absolutely zero evolutionary mechanism to process dietary cholesterol because it never, ever encounters it in nature. So when you force feed it to them,
of course it's going to build up.
Of course it accumulates. It has nowhere to go. It's basically toxic to them.
But humans, we're omnivores. We've been eating meat and eggs for our entire evolutionary history.
Correct. For hundreds of thousands of years, our bodies are designed to handle dietary cholesterol. So applying rabbit data to human cardiology was this fundamental, massive error.
But that fear just stuck.
It stuck, and it influenced the dietary guidelines of the 70s and 80s, and we are, still unlearning it today.
So let's get to the truth then. If I eat an egg, which has about 185 milligrams of cholesterol in the yolk?
Around there, yes.
What does my body actually do? Does it just dump that straight into my arteries?
No, absolutely not. And to understand this, you have to understand the liver.
Okay.
Your liver is the primary producer of cholesterol in your body. The vast majority of it is produced internally. It doesn't primarily come from the food you eat.
Wait, hold on. So my body's making cholesterol on its own, even if I eat nothing but lettuce?
Yes. In fact, your liver produces anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day.
3,000 milligrams? That's the equivalent of eating 15 eggs a day.
Exactly. Your body is already making a dozen eggs worth of cholesterol daily.
But why?
Because cholesterol is not a poison. It is an essential building block for life.
Right.
Every single cell membrane in your body, billions of them, needs cholesterol to maintain its structure. Your brain is loaded with it. You need it to make testosterone, estrogen, cortisol, vitamin D. I mean, if you had zero cholesterol, you'd be dead instantly.
Okay, so the body needs it. But the logic has always been, my body makes some, so if I add more from food, I'll have too much. It's like the overflowing bucket theory.
That's the logical assumption, but biology is smarter than a bucket. This is where the fascinating biological adjustment happens.
The adjustment.
When you eat eggs consistently, even up to 4 a day, your liver is smart. It acts like a thermostat.
It knows cholesterol's coming in from the outside.
It knows. And because it sees that you're providing cholesterol through your diet, the liver naturally downregulates its own production. It produces less cholesterol to compensate.
So it's a feedback loop.
It's a homeostatic feedback loop. It just balances itself out.
So it's not like you're just stacking cholesterol on top of cholesterol. You eat 500 milligrams, the liver just decides to make 500 milligrams less.
Precisely. For about 70 to 75% of the population, dietary cholesterol has almost zero impact on their blood cholesterol levels because the liver adjusts perfectly.
Okay, but what about the other 25%? The people whose numbers do move?
This is where it gets really nuanced and fascinating. And this is where we have to update our definitions of good and bad cholesterol.
Okay.
We usually think of LDL as the villain, right? But not all LDL is created equal.
I have heard this. There are different types.
Yes. Think of LDL particles like balls floating in your bloodstream. You have small, dense LDL particles.
Okay.
These are like BB gun pellets or, little bowling balls. They're hard, dense, and heavy.
And I'm guessing those are the dangerous ones.
They are. Because they're small and dense, they can easily penetrate the arterial wall. They get stuck. They oxidize. They cause inflammation and plaque. That's the heart disease risk.
Okay. And the other type?
Then you have large, buoyant, fluffy LDL particles. Think of these like beach balls.
Fluffy beach balls. I like that.
Exactly. Because they're large and buoyant, they don't get stuck. They tend to just bounce off the arterial walls. They're physiologically benign.
So they just float around doing their job without causing any damage.
Right. And where do eggs fit into this?
That's the question.
The fats and nutrients in eggs tend to shift the profile toward those large, fluffy particles.
Ah.
So even if your total LDL number goes up slightly on a lab test, the nature of that cholesterol is changing from dangerous little bowling balls to safe, fluffy beach balls.
That is a massive distinction. So a doctor just looking at the total number might panic.
Right.
But if they looked at the particle size, they'd actually see a healthier profile.
That is exactly right. And usually, along with that shift, the HDL, the good cholesterol, goes up significantly.
The cleanup crew.
The cleanup crew, exactly. HDL scrubs the arteries, so you have more cleanup crew and safer particles floating around. The net result for most people is actually better heart health, not worse.
That's a huge relief. It feels like we can finally take a breath and actually enjoy breakfast again without feeling guilty.
Absolutely. The science is just so clear now. Eggs do not clog your arteries. And once we stop fearing the egg, we can start appreciating what it actually is.
Which brings us right to our next section. You called it the ultimate biological building block.
Yes. This is where we move from it won't hurt you to it will actively heal and rebuild you.
I want to go back to something you said in the intro. You compared an egg to a steak. Now, on my plate, I know the difference, but biologically, what's the difference in how my body uses them?
It all comes down to evolutionary purpose. Think about a steak or a chicken breast or a fish fillet. What are those things?
Muscle tissue.
They're muscle tissue.
Yeah.
And What is the biological purpose of muscle tissue?
Movement.
Movement. It's designed to contract, to pull, to hold tension, to support weight. And because of that function, the protein structures in meat are dense. They're fibrous.
They're built to be tough.
They're literally built to be tough because they have a tough job. And that makes it harder for your body to break down and assimilate.
The digestive system has to work pretty hard.
It has to work very hard to unwind those tight protein fibers to get the amino acids out.
Okay, so now,
Now consider the egg. It wasn't designed for movement. It wasn't designed to run or swim. It was designed by nature as a self-contained kit to grow a complex living being from single cell.
the starter kit for life again.
Exactly. Everything needed to build bone, eye tissue, brain matter, feathers, blood, nerves. It is all packed into that shell.
And it's ready to go.
It has to be ready to go. Because it's meant to facilitate rapid growth and development of an embryo, the nutrients are in their most accessible, most usable form. Nature wants that chick to grow fast.
So it's not just about how much protein is in there, the grams on the label. It's about how much of it we can actually use.
Correct. And this brings us to a critical concept called biological value, or BV.
Biological value. Okay, let's unpack that. Is this like a rating system?
It is the gold standard rating system for protein quality. It's the answer to one simple question. Of the protein you eat, how much actually stays in your body to build tissue and how much is just wasted?
Okay, so if I eat a burger, I'm not using 100% of that protein.
No, not even close. Let's look at the numbers. Beef protein has a biological value of about 75 to 80%.
So 20 to 25% is just loss.
It's not utilized for tissue building, no.
No.
It's either burned for energy or it's excreted as waste.
That's a pretty significant loss. What about chicken or fish?
Chicken is around 79%. Fish is a bit better, usually between 80 and 85. And these are good numbers, mind you.
Right.
Plant proteins are often much lower, sometimes in the 50s or 60s. But animal meats still aren't perfect.
And egg.
The egg sits at the very top of the chart. In fact, the chart was created with the egg as the reference point. It has a biological value of a perfect 100%.
Wow, 100.
Every single gram of protein in that egg is put to work. Nothing is wasted. The amino acid profile matches human requirements almost perfectly.
So for our listeners at Senior Life Stories, why is that specific efficiency so important? Why does it matter if it's 80% or 100%?
It matters because of a phenomenon called anabolic resistance.
Anabolic resistance.
As we age, our bodies get a little stubborn. When you're 20, you can eat a little bit of protein and your muscles grow. When you're 60 or 70, your muscles become resistant to that same signal.
So you need a louder signal.
You need a louder signal. You actually need more high-quality protein to get the same repair result that you used to get easily. You need high-octane fuel.
So if you're eating protein that's harder to digest, you might not be triggering that process at all.
You might not be. But because the egg is 100% efficient, it breaks through that resistance.
That explains why recovery just feels so much slower as we get older.
It really does. Think about it. Recovery slows down. Maybe you feel a bit weaker. Maybe healing takes longer. When you eat an egg, because of that 100% efficiency, you are driving faster muscle repair.
And more than just muscles.
Oh yeah. You're building stronger bone tissue. You're strengthening tendons and ligaments. You're fueling robust hormone and enzyme production. For those feeling tired, or weak, or recovering slowly, it's one of the most efficient fixes you can make.
It's incredible. But let's talk about energy in a broader sense. When I think energy food, I think carbs, a bowl of oatmeal, a piece of toast.
That's the classic energy breakfast, right?
Yeah.
You run on carbs.
Yeah.
But we need to rethink energy, especially when we talk about sustainability. I like to use the analogy of a bonfire.
Okay.
Is your bonfire made of kindling, or is it made of oak logs?
I like that.
Carbs, especially processed ones like toast or sugary cereal, are kindling. They burn hot and fast. You eat them, your blood sugar spikes, you feel great for an hour, and then what happens?
The fire goes out, the crash.
The fire goes out.
Yep.
Insulin rushes in to manage that sugar spike and it overcorrects. Your blood sugar crashes. You get the mid-morning slump, the brain fog. You get hangry.
That's the 10:30 a.m. donut craving.
That is the donut craving. Your brain thinks it's starving because the fuel supply just got cut out.
Okay, so now the egg, the oak log.
The egg is the oak log. The yolk is packed with healthy fats, and fat burns slow and steady. About 65% of the calories in an egg come from that fat.
So no spike.
No spike, no crash. It's just a steady, flat line of energy release. And that stability is everything for a senior lifestyle. You don't want to be riding an energy roller coaster all day.
You want to be stable.
Exactly. Which brings us to the satiety factor.
Satiety, that feeling of being full.
Right. Eggs are incredibly good at signaling to your brain, we are full, we have nutrients, you can stop thinking about food. Switching from toast to eggs can keep someone feeling full for 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours compared to what, maybe 1 or 2 from cereal?
If you're lucky. And for weight management, that is the golden ticket.
Of course.
If you have stable energy, you don't have those snacking urges, you aren't hunting for a cookie, you're just fine.
It's not about willpower, it's about biology. You feed your body the oak logs, it doesn't scream for kindling.
Precisely.
Now, I want to move into the anatomy of the egg a little more. We've talked about the yolk as fuel. What about the white? I've heard some interesting things about egg whites being almost like a shield.
This is one of my favorite parts of egg biology. Again, we have to remember, the egg is a potential life form sitting out in the world waiting. It's vulnerable
to bacteria, fungus, all sorts of things.
So nature designed the egg white, the albumin, as a high-tech suit of armor. It isn't just filler.
It has a job.
It has a very important job. It's packed with antimicrobial proteins. These are enzymes that can literally break down the cell walls of bacteria. It fights back.
Wow.
It has proteins that block bacteria from stealing nutrients. It even has molecules that bind to iron so pathogens can't use it to grow. It is a sterile fortress designed to keep that yolk safe.
That's fascinating. But there's one defense mechanism in there that's caused some confusion. It involves a nutrient called biotin.
Ah, yes. The raw egg controversy. I get this question all the time. Doesn't eating eggs cause a biotin deficiency?
Right. Biotin is vitamin B7. We need it for hair, skin, nails.
And it's a partial truth that got completely blown out of proportion. Raw egg whites contain a compound called avidin. Avidin is a protein that acts like a magnet for biotin. It binds to it very tightly like a lock and key and doesn't let go.
So if I eat the raw white, the avidin steals my biotin?
Technically, yes.
Yes.
If you were to consume a large amount of raw egg whites, like Rocky Balboa drinking them out of a glass.
An iconic scene, but maybe not the best nutritional advice.
Terrible advice. If you drank, say, 10 raw egg whites a day, the avidin would bind up the biotin in your gut and prevent you from absorbing it. You could develop a deficiency.
Okay, but most of us aren't doing that. We cook our eggs.
And that is the simple fix. Heat. Avidin is sensitive to heat.
It deactivates it.
Cooking destroys the avidin protein structure. It melts the lock, so to speak. As soon as you cook the egg, boil it, fry it, scramble it, the avidin is deactivated. It releases the biotin.
So the takeaway is just cook your eggs.
Cook your eggs. You get all the protein, all the benefits, and zero biotin risk. Simple as that.
Now, sticking with the muscle theme for a moment, there's a specific word that popped up in our research that I think is really important for our listeners. Leucine.
Leucine, yes. This is critical. If you remember one word from today regarding muscle, let it be leucine.
What is it?
Leucine is an amino acid. But it's not just a building block like the others. You need to think of leucine as a signal. It's the master switch for your metabolism regarding muscle.
A switch. Like a light switch.
Exactly like a light switch. Inside your cells, there's a mechanism called MTO. You can think of MTO as the foreman at a construction site.
Okay.
Most of the time, the foreman is kind of asleep. You can send in bricks and lumber protein, but if the foreman is asleep, nothing gets built.
Right.
Leucine is the coffee that wakes up the foreman. When you consume enough leucine, specifically around 2.5 to 3 grams, it flips that MTO switch. The foreman wakes up and yells, okay, time to build, time to repair. It triggers muscle protein synthesis.
And eggs are loaded with this.
They are one of the richest natural sources.
Yeah.
And this is why it is so profoundly relevant to the Senior Life Stories audience.
Because of that anabolic resistance we talked about earlier.
Yes. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, happens because that foreman gets harder and harder to wake up as we get older. A small amount of protein just doesn't do it anymore.
You need a bigger jolt of coffee.
You need a big hit of leucine to flip that switch. And that's a scary thought, losing muscle, just because we can't flip the switch. It's the primary cause of frailty.
But the eggs can do it.
Eating 4 eggs provides a massive dose of leucine. It provides that strong, consistent signal needed to override the resistance.
So it's about muscle retention.
It's about retention and mobility. Muscle isn't about looking good in a t-shirt when you're older.
No.
It's about being able to get out of a chair without using your hands. It's about balance so you don't fall.
Yeah.
It's about being able to walk up a flight of stairs. It's about independence.
That's what it all comes down to.
Exactly. More muscle equals a longer, stronger, more independent life. And eggs are a very easy way to ensure you're flipping that switch every single day.
That's a powerful image, flipping the switch for independence. I love that. Speaking of which, let's move to section 5. You called this the maintenance crew, and we're talking about a process called methylation.
Methylation, yes.
That sounds like a terrifying chemistry final exam.
It does sound complex, but let's simplify it. Imagine a maintenance crew inside your body that's working 24/7.
Okay.
This crew has millions of tiny jobs. It's responsible for repairing your DNA when it gets damaged. It detoxifies chemicals and used up hormones. It produces the neurotransmitters your brain needs to think. That whole process is methylation.
So it's the behind-the-scenes cleanup and repair crew?
Correct. Now imagine a factory. Methylation is the conveyor belt that keeps things moving. If methylation slows down, trash starts to build up.
What kind of trash?
A compound called homocysteine. Think of homocysteine as the toxic waste of the cell. If your methylation is working properly, you recycle homocysteine into good things. If it stops,
The waste piles up.
and that's very bad. High homocysteine damages arteries. Linking back to heart health again, it damages the brain. It's linked to Alzheimer's and inflammation.
So we need that crew working at full capacity.
We do. But here's the problem. This crew needs supplies to work.
Yeah.
And statistically, up to 40% of adults have a genetic weakness, a specific gene mutation that makes their methylation process inefficient.
40%, that's almost half of us.
It is extremely common, and many people have no idea they have it. Their crew is just slow. They're understaffed.
What does it look like symptom-wise if your crew is falling behind?
It looks a lot like what we just call getting old, unfortunately. It's brain fog, trouble concentrating, consistently low energy, increased inflammation, a sluggish detox system, even things like fatty liver.
Those are all things people just assume are normal parts of aging. Oh, I'm just getting slower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they might just be a lack of raw materials for methylation. And this is where the egg comes in like a hero.
It brings the supplies.
Yes. Eggs provide the trinity of nutrients specifically needed for methylation. They're one of the best natural sources of choline, natural vitamin B12, and folate.
Tell me about choline. I feel like that's a nutrient nobody ever talks about.
It's the forgotten nutrient. It's absolutely essential, but something like 90% of Americans are deficient in it.
90%.
It's staggering.
Right.
And it's the main fuel for methylation. It's also the precursor for acetylcholine, which is the key neurotransmitter for memory.
So without choline, my memory fades and my maintenance crew quits.
In a nutshell, yes. And eggs are the single best source of choline in the standard diet. You'd have to eat pounds and pounds of broccoli to get what's in a couple of eggs.
So if you're one of those people, that 40% with the slow gene, and you start eating eggs,
You are finally giving your body what it has been begging for. You are bypassing the genetic bottleneck. And the results can be dramatic.
like what?
People report clearer thinking, sharper memory, better mood, and physically improved liver health because those detox pathways finally have the fuel to run properly.
It's amazing that something as simple as an egg can affect how clearly I can think. It's not a drug, it's just food.
It's a direct connection. Food is information for your body.
Well, speaking of sensing and thinking, let's talk about the senses, specifically vision. I feel like my eyesight gets a little worse every year. It's just part of the deal, right?
To a degree, age affects the eyes. But again, we can arm ourselves. Inside the yolk, that golden center, are two powerful antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin.
Lutein and zeaxanthin, I see those on the vitamin bottles in the store.
You do. But the bioavailability in eggs is far superior. Think of these compounds as internal sunglasses.
Internal sunglasses, I like that.
Yes. When you eat them, they don't just float around randomly. They travel specifically to the eye and accumulate in the retina.
And the macula.
Right in the macula. In fact, the term macula lutea literally translates to yellow spot. It's supposed to be yellow because it's supposed to be full of these yellow pigments from your food.
So we are literally, physically building a shield in our eye.
Yes. They act as a filter. They filter out UV rays. But more importantly for modern lice, they filter out damaging blue light.
From screens, phones, TVs, computers.
Exactly. Blue light causes a lot of oxidative stress in the eye. It damages the cells. Lutein and zeaxanthin absorb that light before it hits the sensitive machinery. They're protecting those delicate cells from wear and tear.
Is there an immediate benefit too? Or is it just about, preventing blindness in 10 years?
There is an immediate functional benefit, night vision and contrast sensitivity.
Really?
Yes. These nutrients help the eye recover from glare like from oncoming headlights and see better in low light. Many people who increase their egg intake report that they feel more confident driving at night.
That is a huge safety factor for seniors. Night driving is a major anxiety for so many people. It shrinks their world.
It does. If eating eggs keeps you driving safely for another 5 years, that is a massive win for your independence.
And does this structural support extend to the brain too? We talked about the chemicals, but what about the physical brain matter?
Yes. We have to remember what the brain is. It isn't a muscle. It's largely fat.
Right.
It's made of these fragile membranes that need very special fats to stay flexible and sharp. And eggs have those fats.
What are they called?
They're called phospholipids. These are the specific fats that make up your cell membranes. If your cell membranes get stiff, your brain signals are slow. If they're fluid and flexible, thanks to phospholipids, your cognition is fast.
So by feeding your brain phospholipids from egg yolks, you're keeping the wiring insulated and flexible.
You are supercharging cognition. You're supporting memory, learning, and mood balance. Whether you're a senior trying to stay sharp or even someone recovering from a head injury, you need to feed your brain what it's made of. The brain thrives on eggs.
It's incredible. Every time we turn a corner, there's another major benefit. We've got muscles, eyes, the brain, the liver. Are there any other hidden surprises in there?
There is a hidden vitamin arsenal we should definitely touch on. Things that don't get the headlines but are absolutely vital for the senior years.
Okay, give us the highlights.
Vitamin K2. This is a big one. Think of K2 as a traffic cop for calcium.
A traffic cop.
Yes. We all know we need calcium for our bones.
Yeah.
So we take supplements, we drink milk. But here's the danger. Calcium is dumb. It doesn't know where to go.
Oh.
If it gets into your arteries or your joints, it causes calcification. Hardened arteries, arthritis. It's bad news.
Okay.
Vitamin K2 activates a protein that grabs calcium and physically drags it into the bone matrix and keeps it out of the soft tissues. It directs the traffic.
So K2 prevents heart disease and builds bone at the same time.
Exactly. And the yolks of pasture-raised eggs are a great source of K2.
What else is in the arsenal?
Retinol. This is the bioavailable form of vitamin A. We think of carrots and beta-carotene for vitamin A.
Right.
But beta-carotene is just a precursor. Your body has to convert it to retinol to use it. And that conversion is really inefficient, especially in older adults.
So a carrot isn't giving me the vitamin A I think it is.
Not very efficiently, no. But the retinol in an egg is ready to use right away. It supports your immune function and skin integrity immediately.
And finally, the big one, vitamin D.
The sunshine vitamin. Critical for bone health, hormone regulation, mood stabilization. Most of us are deficient because we live indoors.
And eggs have it.
Eggs are one of the very few natural food sources of vitamin D. It's hard to get from food, but it's in there.
It really is a multivitamin in a shell.
It's nature's multivitamin.
Yeah.
And a bioavailable one at that.
Okay, so we are sold on the why. The biology is undeniable. We need to eat eggs. But now we face the confusing part.
The grocery store aisle. The wall of confusion.
Yes. There are so many labels. Caged, cage-free, free-range, pasture-raised, organic, omega-3 enriched. It's overwhelming. And the prices range from $2 to $9. What actually matters?
It is confusing by design, unfortunately. Marketing obscures reality.
Yeah.
But we can decode it. Let's start at the very bottom. Caged.
Caged.
Avoid these if you possibly can. These hens live in tiny battery cages. Space is smaller than a sheet of paper. They're incredibly stressed. They're often sick.
And that affects the egg.
High stress in the animal means higher cortisol in the egg and a poorer nutrient profile.
Okay, so caged is a no-go. What about cage-free? That sounds nice. I'm picturing chickens walking around a barn.
It sounds better.
Yeah.
And it is, marginally better than a battery cage. But don't picture a beautiful red barn with open doors.
No.
Cage-free usually just means they're in a giant, windowless industrial warehouse. They aren't in cages, but they are incredibly crowded shoulder to shoulder in their own waste. They almost never see sunlight.
So it's better, but it's not great.
Not great. Then you have vegetarian fed.
That sounds healthy. Vegetarians are healthy, right?
For humans, maybe.
Yeah.
For chickens.
Oh,
A chicken's basically a little dinosaur. It's an omnivore.
it wants to eat bugs.
It wants to eat bugs, worms, grubs, lizards. That is where it gets its nutrients. If you force a chicken to be a vegetarian, feeding it only corn and soy, you're malnourishing the bird. So vegetarian fed is actually a bad sign.
Wow. Okay, so what is the gold standard? What are we looking for?
The gold standard is pasture-raised.
Pasture-raised.
This label is actually regulated and means something. It means the hens have significant space, usually 108 square feet per bird. They have access to the outdoors. They're out in the sun, foraging for bugs and grass.
And that natural lifestyle changes the egg itself.
Drastically. A pasture-raised egg has a bright, deep orange yolk. That color is the beta-carotene and the antioxidants we talked about. It has more vitamin D from the sun. It has more healthy fats. It's just a nutritionally superior product.
Okay, so pasture-raised is what we want. Where does organic fit in here?
This is a tricky one. Organic refers to the feed, not the living conditions. An organic hen gets organic grain, no pesticides, no GMOs. That's good. But an organic hen can still be living in one of those crowded cage-free barns.
I did not realize that.
So if you want the absolute best of the best, you look for the combination. Pasture-raised and organic.
So best environment and best feed. That's the holy grail.
It is.
But I have to play devil's advocate here. Those eggs can be expensive. We're talking double or triple the price. What if a listener is on a fixed income and they can't afford $8 for a carton of eggs?
This is very important reality check. Please do not let perfect be the enemy of good.
Okay.
If you can only afford the regular conventional eggs, you should still eat them. A regular egg is still a nutritional powerhouse. It still has the protein, the choline, the lutein. It is still infinitely healthier for you than a bowl of sugary cereal, a processed granola bar, or a pastry.
That's good to hear. Don't skip the eggs just because you can't buy the fancy ones.
Exactly. The benefit of the egg itself far outweighs the difference in the label if the alternative is processed food. Do the best you can with the budget you have.
That's great advice. Okay, we have our eggs. We've brought them home. Now we have to cook them. And this brings us to section 9, culinary synergy.
Synergy. This is a concept that's often missed. It's not just what you eat, but what you eat it with. We can actually hack our digestion.
We can hack it.
We can. To maximize absorption, let's look at some power pairings. First up, arugula or spinach leafy greens.
Why greens?
Greens are full of antioxidants like vitamin K1 and beta-carotene. But here's the catch. These are fat-soluble vitamins.
They need fat to be absorbed.
Exactly. If you eat a salad with fat-free dressing, you absorb almost nothing. You're just wasting the salad.
Wow.
But if you put an egg on that salad, the healthy fats in the egg yolk act as a carrier. Studies show that adding eggs to a salad can boost the absorption of those antioxidants in the greens by up to 9 times.
9 times. So a salad with an egg is 9 times more effective than a salad without one.
In terms of absorbing those specific nutrients, yes, you are unlocking the value of the vegetables.
That's incredible. What else? What's another pairing?
Onions. Onions contain sulfur compounds. We talked about the liver earlier.
Yeah.
These sulfur compounds support the liver's detoxification pathways. So an omelet with onions is a detox booster.
Delicious and functional.
And always seasoned with black pepper.
Black pepper, why?
Black pepper contains piperine. Piperine acts as a bioenhancer. It dramatically increases the absorption of nutrients, specifically the carotenoids, the lutein and zeaxanthin in the yolk. It keeps your liver from breaking them down too fast so they can actually get to your eyes.
Just a little crack of pepper makes that big a difference.
A huge difference.
Yeah.
And let's throw in cooked tomatoes. Tomatoes have lycopene, which is great for heart and prostate health.
Okay.
Lycopene is locked in the tomato cell walls. When you cook tomatoes with the heat and the fat of the eggs, that lycopene becomes much more bioavailable.
And what about for energy? Anything to add?
Avocado. Add some avocado on the side. It adds fiber and more healthy monounsaturated fats. It just stabilizes that energy release even further.
And finally, what should we be cooking them in? Butter.
Oil. You want to use stable fats. Do not use vegetable oils like soybean or corn oil. They oxidize at high heat and become inflammatory. Use olive oil, butter, or ghee. They enhance nutrient absorption and they remain stable.
So scramble some pasture-raised eggs in a little butter, throw in some onions and tomatoes, crack some pepper on top with a side of arugula. That sounds like a gourmet meal.
But it's actually a prescription for health. It's a medicinal meal in the best possible sense.
We have covered so much ground today.
We really have.
We started with the fear, the cholesterol myth, and we busted it with the science of the rabbit versus the human. We realized the liver just adjusts. We looked at the protein, the 100% biological value, and how it's the ultimate starter kit for repair.
We talked about energy, the difference between that sugar crash from carbs and the stable, long-lasting fuel of the yolk.
We discussed the maintenance crew for our DNA and how eggs can help clear the brain fog. We talked about internal sunglasses for our eyes, and we even learned how to shop and cook for synergy.
It's a complete transformation of how we should view this food. Nutrition is really just about providing the body with the right tools, and the egg is quite simply one of the most efficient, versatile, and powerful tools available to us.
So here's the challenge for you, the listener. If you've been avoiding eggs because of fear or just habit, maybe try incorporating them. Obviously, listen to your body. If you tolerate them well, try working up to those 4 eggs a day.
And see if you notice a difference in your energy, in your focus, in your ability to get through the morning without dragging, maybe even in your night vision.
It's an experiment worth trying, and I have to tease something. In the research for this deep dive, we stumbled across another topic, the combination of eggs and milk.
Oh yes, the synergy between eggs and milk for bone health and hormones is a whole other fascinating chapter.
The calcium-protein matrix.
That's a deep dive all on its own.
We might just have to save that for a future one.
I think we should.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this biology lesson today. It has been truly eye-opening.
My pleasure. It's always great to share the science behind the food.
And thank you to you, our listener, for joining us on this educational deep dive. We hope you feel a little smarter, a little more empowered, and maybe just a little hungry.
I know I am.
This has been a presentation for Senior Life Stories. Stay curious, stay strong, and we'll see you next time.